Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this version of America CSA AI Fridays. And today we have a guest speaker, Bala, who's going to have a talk around Center of Excellence for FDE, Microsoft IQ. So looking forward to hearing from him. So I'm going to hand this over to Bala, and Bala, you have the floor.
Thank you, Lalit. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we see it.
Perfect. Okay. So hi everyone. So my name is Bala. I'm a cloud solutions architect, part of what we call the professional services industry. It's a little bit different. We have the big four, but also have the consulting, tax, accounting, and legal type companies. So that's the industry that I'm at, and I have the opportunity to work with one of the biggest consulting company, and so that's what I spend most of my time. And I'm going to walk you guys through like what we are trying to do. I'll give you an introduction on like what's happening. One of the thing we were thinking to do is like every other industry has transformation happening, and as you all know, it is also going to happen in the professional services world, and especially on the IT side. It's been a rocky ride, as we all know. Cloud code and development that we know of has completely changed. So we were debating about like, okay, how do we go transform consulting companies' engagement? But I'll give you some backgrounds on why this is like I've been only in this industry for about a year or so, but before that we used to be West Midwest. I used to have other accounts as well, and one of the challenges that I've always constantly seen is like we have these amazing tools and technologies, but to take it to production, we need our partner ecosystem to be um, very smart enough and skilled to be able to take it to everywhere, right? I mean, that seems to be um, a challenge that I've seen, especially with some of these big SI vendors. They all have the right intention. They come with they have their own tools and technologies, and nothing is wrong, and they always have the best ones, yes. But it's been always been struggle to make them adapt to a newer technology faster and move with the pace of at least what the industry is moving. And I don't think they can move to the pace of what the industry is going, but at least considerably decent amount of pace so that we can get projects to production. I mean, all these were not doing a POC was the easiest thing, but it was always about how do we take them to production, given the um, the landscape is very new with AI. It's not that we can actually take an existing software and add AI to it. You can, but there were some nuances with it. The technology is changing fast, and models are changing left and right. Now these days, agentic AI. In the last 3 years, it went from just generative AI to RAG to agentic AI now. So all this in mind, now how do we change the professional services industry to adapt faster and be adaptive to the industry changes, right? So we are working on this concept of AI Center of Excellence. I'm using AI, but this basically like any type of AI, it could be your data science work or the regular machine learning, deep learning, or even if we are adding now these days we are doing Gen AI and agentic AI. So ultimately, we wanted to build out and COE, because the customer that I support, they have like quite a bit of employees, like more than 700,000 of them. So we have to educate them, but we also have to make sure that um, what can they do for their consulting and how can we change it. The days of doing long, like having projects for like 3 years and 5 years and doing it for like couple of millions and millions of dollars, those days are gone. So also, I wouldn't say gone, but it's reduced. And if you have any questions, please put it in the chat or just stop and ask me. And Lalit, if you don't mind, if you have any questions in the chat, let me know. So that being said, so this is the background that I've been after for a while, and we wanted to find and do something that can amplify our uh, customers' production much faster with not overdoing, but at the same time, like ability to take the chunk of chewable one and take it to production, right? So that derived this concept of AI Center of Excellence. This is my version of what I think as AI Center of Excellence, and this is what we were figuring out with our customer to figure and set it up, and I'll tell you what came out of this, and you can see why it is. The first and the foremost is like we were looking at like on the consulting side, like, hey, um, how do that customer take the AI and start making money out of it, right? Like obviously there's got to be the organizational stuff. We have to have the AI strategy. The AI strategy is never a fixed set strategy. It is an evolving strategy. And the operating model is also evolving. Like usually in a regular corporate, the operating models are like years and years and years. Versus we actually rotate it super fast. Like we'll change in a week's time, we'll change application models, the way that we are doing business, everything changes in that fast. And then culture and adoption. So there is a team that is built around. We'll talk about it. And people, we have to skill people, train them constantly. Managing talent is also another challenge. Like there's a lot of rotation around it. And then you have platform and technology, like the architectures. What architectures to go about? Can we do a reference architecture? But does the architecture change with every customer? That there's a constant evolve of change, right? Like sometimes you can reuse the architecture, sometimes you cannot because there are some new things came up and we have to integrate it. And then the integration side with the MCP and all, there is a lot of changes happening there. And then the data sources, data access, how effectively that we can do, and then how do we enable these if they do like a industry specific version, how do we do it for like marketplace and scale that also. So one of the one of the things that these consulting company are looking at now recently is as of now the develop build has become so easy, and all we need is like Cloud Code or GitHub Copilot, and building applications have become super easy. But that's what they were making money out of, building and integrating to a business processes. So now they're all pivoting it into industry process and industry solutions. That's what we were looking to. I mean, at least that's what the vision were. Now, this adds up few things. Like now they can go back and go to every industry, look at it one by one, and they can actually build and make some sense out of it. Rather, what we decided is like we can um, we can build a platform. This platform is not an infrastructure platform. It's more of a software platform where the FDEs, like the new concept is like the forward deployment engineers, right? Usually FDEs are specific to a product and they go and they use the product and build customer ready use cases. In this case, the FDEs are going to be scattered because any of our customers, they don't just use a single product, rather they use at least the big ones, they're scattered across and they use a bunch of different products. Could be multi-cloud or multi-SaaS. It can be anything that's spanning from um, just using a single vendor to multiple clouds and multiple SaaS products and all, right? So the FDE model can change depending on what the customer and their project is going to be. But what they wanted to do is like they want to build an platform that these FDEs can use. And what's the value is because they can bring this dual velocity approach, right? Number one, they can bring in all the foundations that needs to be in place. And we'll see, you will see the when you see the flow, you will see what the foundations I'm talking about. And then how do we take not just one use case with one team, rather take bunch of use cases and deploy to production scale in faster. Just to give you an idea that a production single use case will make it to production in like 14 weeks. It's how that's how we were looking at with all the guardrails testing and everything like that. That's where this platform becomes very, very, very interesting. And the Accenture terminology, I think Accenture is the customer, so you can see it. So he's the customer that I work, and they call it as an accelerator. It's really not an accelerator. It's almost like a development tool that their consultant use to build application and deploy for their customers, right? So it's a tool or you can call it a utility or you can call it as an Accenture accelerator. What they have is the biggest reason why this is so important is like they have all the foundation in baked in. Not You should not be looking at this as an individual team. If you're looking at it as an entire enterprise, what is really needed to drive this? That this is where Accenture actually does a great job. So if you look at it, they have this project onboarding lifecycle, data knowledge management, model management, testing and evaluations, prompt engineering, RAI, and safety measures baked into it. And then they have the monitoring, security, FinOps, and all of those baked in as a platform. So we can run thousands of use cases and take it to production, and you can still know like who's doing what. You can actually watch how many projects Bala has been put to production, are people using it? All those can be monitored and actually worked upon, right? And then they have this use case layer. This use case layer is like, they have we can design it however we want. It's a multi-agent architecture, but agents are building, they use agent to put together orchestrations to build a business application. And they also have this cartridges, they call it like reusable agents, basically. And they have all the agentic monitoring, agentic ops, everything baked on it. So this is how they were looking at. Let's So far, does it make sense? Yeah, thumbs up,
Yes,
thumbs
yeah,
down. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, good.
And
Okay.
if anybody
So
has question, please come off mute. So let's make it an interactive session.
right. And this is how they usually look at an engagement. So when they start an engagement, they will look at it like this is the process that they follow through to take it to production. And not every project makes it 14 weeks. If it is a single use case and if it is not too complicated, within 4 weeks it will go to production, right? So it can reduce. I've seen engagements going from 4 weeks to 12 weeks to 14 weeks. So there are certain things that we added in here. It's like there's a project tracking and prioritization. This became a very big problem in the beginning. Like, hey, everybody wants to do a project, but who is getting the budget and who is getting allocated? Usually these are different systems, but we ended up baking into the same single system, so we know from start to finish, even after deployment, we can figure out the lineage between it, right? And then we added like, how do we have utilities or tools that can do multi-type documents? What if the documents are like, thousands and thousands of pages? And what happens if they have PII? How do you chunk it? What are the retrieval technology? How do you build the semantic layer? These were all then we started putting together, right? Like, I mean, you will see why how we built this, and you will see that um, the reason why I'm very passionate about it, because you can obviously ask me and say like, hey, there are so many different platforms that does it. What is our advantage in it? And we'll talk about that later. There are a bunch of platforms like this, but I like this because there is a certain method of madness to it, and we'll talk about it. And then we have prompt management, prompt designing. How do you compare prompt and evaluate and see which prompt is giving better results with a specific model? They also have a prompt registry with the versioning. There is also validation happening. There is option that is provided as well for you. Um, then comes the business use case implementation. Now, this is where they do analysis of like, hey, what are the requirements? What is the process that the customer existing has, and how can they reimagine that? And then they have for that, they have the agent framework, the RAG framework. They also have a concept called switchboards that they test the model for business specific use case and tell you like which model works the best. Primarily we use all the first party OpenAI models, but we also can leverage other open source depending on what the customer's asks are. Custom copilots, we also integrate and extend. If our copilots doesn't do very well, we can extend it through Promethea Core. That is also available. Um, Once you have that, then they need all these tools. You have the application built out and the in that fourth stop. I call it the stop signs here. If you're driving in a bus. So the fourth stop is where you're building applications and stuff like that. But then you need like evaluations. You need to do A/B testing. We have to figure out the overall project testing as well. What is the drift anomaly? How is the responsible AI practice put in place, even for not only for the development and testing, but also for on the when the application is getting consumed. And then guardrails. We do also do data simulation here because for a specific use case, if you want to say, for example, if it is a radiology and if you want to create some radiology practices, then we can actually do that as well. That is also possible. That being said, then comes like once you have the built out, you have done the testing and everything, then has the tool has all the monitoring capabilities with observability. You can actually observe the agent interactions, tracings, responsible AI practices, the FinOps, end-to-end forecasting, like how is the how much consumption is happening and how much can we extend it. By the way, this platform can work with very small scale project, medium up to large scale, and we'll talk about that later also why. And it also has a control plane where the customers can log in and they can actually watch this. This is, as you can see, like these are the steps that the tool has. I know I'm talking to very high level. It's built on like hundreds of API and agents behind the scenes with MCP these days. And the last one is like the packaging and pipelining. Like it'll also create it and we can deploy it to a production environment. All of these are um, the complete process is baked. Now, this is something NFD is going to go through if you're a consulting company and if you have to do it. Here is the entire process. So this is why we ended up building an FDE platform. Right now, they call it Promethea Core. There is a newer version coming, and that is going to say Intelligent Digital Brain. Usually, Accenture takes like, if you're familiar with big companies, these Accenture project goes for years and years and years. And now we do it in months. And this platform has proven for us to help us in doing it. And this 40% number is not a marketing number at all. It came from customer, and we look at like how else they're using the platform. But before that, here are some of the biggest KPI that I also have seen, and even the customer actually shared with me. The one thing is speed to value. We will build smaller team instead of putting like 100 people in a project. We'll put like 10 people, 5 people, 20 people, and then iterate it faster. Instead of doing all the features, we'll take the majority of a small the set subset of feature and do it and put it to production and see how it's doing. And the platform excellence. This platform allows them to build much faster. We'll see on different. I have some phases that I'll show you, but there are different phases has got different KPIs that we were able to measure. Um, and then it's an iterative scale. We can scale based on depending on the consumption and the demand um, for the user. Like we have like T-shape, like small, medium, and large type consumption. At least for us in Microsoft, for Microsoft point of view, I know a t-shirt size what small, medium, large will do, and they also have a t-shirt size for their consulting services added on top of it. And then I just leadership ready. So when we go deploy this platform, the advantage is like the CIO needs certain criteria needs to be set, the security reviews, and then the legal reviews and the CISO reviews, um, and 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 all these leaders have their own agenda and they have their KPIs, and this system will satisfy all of them. So if they run a security review, it will pass through, and if they ask about like the vulnerability assessment, you can do it and you can show the report and say like, hey, here is how it is done, so that they have a trail and they can put the guardrail. By any means, this platform is not about infrastructure at all. For infrastructure, this team relies on our uh, cloud adoption framework, or the um, our what do we call landing zones. So infrastructure security and all is done through Azure and Azure best practices, but this is more towards like application and use case specific, driven on the business level. Now, just to feel a little bit more a level. If an FDE is using this platform, where and all they can use is these are the segments that they can use. You can see it. We can use it in the ideation phase. We can even collect requirements. We can do readiness and assessment and all. We can actually figure out documents and drafts and say like, hey, whether it is feasible. And then there is a UI inside for the design side, shaping like how do we create prompts and how do we create architecture diagrams. Those are also possible within the platform itself. And then there is also the build phase. The build phase is what I showed you very extensively before. We have a couple of things here. We have drag and drop based build. You can just drag and drop. We also have a vibe coding base. Like you can say like, hey, I wanted to build an end-to-end, um, like a uh, what is that for a physician assistant to be able to take notes and update the system, especially for radiology. Like you want to take an image, process it, check it, and then send it to the doctor and do all those things. We can do step by step, and we can just ask it in natural English, and it'll actually create a workflow for you. I'll show you a demo if it is possible. And then we also have operational governance. This is the FinOps evaluation framework. You can see how many use cases are running, who the owner is, and this also can be served as a marketplace. If you have like a bunch of agents, you can reuse the agents for other application. That is also possible. So this is on a very high level, but this is the real thing behind it. It's very easy for me to give you a very high level solution, right? But behind the scenes, what happened is all these blocks. So we have a RAG block, an agent block, and then a prompt lifecycle block, data preparation block, and you can see the UI block. You can ask me like, why is this tool needed? the idea behind this tool is not to create a technical framework on top of our framework. It's about creating it's almost like a business framework where we are creating business applications using the technical agents, right? Because the agents do a business functions, and then we use that on top of that we are building. That's the advantage of the platform. So you can see like every, I mean, if I have to go detail on each one of them, I need a lot more time. But you can see like it has all the individual blocks. It also has the control and monitoring block, and then we also have the common utility block. We have also done some fine tuning depending on the customer requirements that I didn't talk about it yet, but you can see there is a fine tuning options here. There is agent management here. We can register agent, expose it, all those things, and then you have the project onboarding. So this is like a functional architecture of all the functionalities that are here, and there are some of them missing also because I couldn't fit it into the in a single slide. Now comes the
Uh,
question of
hey,
architecture.
hey,
Why? Yep.
Bala,
Yeah.
quick question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this particular platform takes input as spec and get the app delivered. Is that
Right.
going
Your
to be
spec
this?
will be in English. Correct.
So that's going to be
Mm.
the input for this. Is that what is
Yep.
that accurate? Okay,
Yep.
cool.
And now let's see where the why I like this tool a lot is because I've I've been using other tools for other customers over the years that I've been in Microsoft. They all are very good, nothing is wrong, but they don't use our platform as a service component to build the tools. They constantly come back and say like, hey, this is what our strategy is. We have our own solution accelerators, and this is what we have built in. It may or may not be helpful for us, right? So from the beginning, one of the conscious decision we took is like we are going to build it in purely with Azure PaaS. It has your data components, it has your apps components. Obviously, it's running in infrastructure, Azure infrastructure. It also uses Azure Infra. Everything from AI Foundry to Azure Functions to App Services to Cosmos DB to Azure Postgres to you name it. Like even AML is used in here for certain things. We also had a very unique feature before nobody knew about model router. We did model router 2.5 years ago. We had our own custom model that we built in AML that was able to pick and choose different type of models for cost savings and all. And then we also have the integration on the left hand side. If you see, the customer portfolio can change. They can come up with their own A2As, or you have to integrate with I mean, most customers we had to integrate with so many different disparate systems, and that is something I've seen. Even the Copilot studios and all starting to struggle when it comes to the integration with existing products in the customer side, like SAP and all those things. And obviously all the backend like the RAIs are all using our Foundry tools evaluations. They use our Azure monitoring, application insights, include even for monitoring observability, everything, all are PaaS services. And this is the reason why I kind of love this platform, because I don't have to guess and say like, hey, is it going to be AI ready for us? Will it drive our consumption, not just AKS or not just VM? Will it use our Azure PaaS products, and will it be a cloud scale ready application? And when I talked about the t-shirt size, I can size this accordingly based on the usage, because we use most of them are PaaS component and pay as you go. So this is where we see a lot of success, because as you know, not all projects makes it to production, but anything that makes it to production, you can see the growth, and it takes time to adopt, right? And the customers can scale as they need it. AI search is used extensively. We use semantic kernel a little bit. Now we have changed it to agent framework in the last couple of weeks. So that being said, you can ask me a question like, "Oh yeah, this is all well and good, but what does it mean to us?" And this is, I told you in the beginning, I don't work in the marketing, so I usually try to shy away from doing science projects. But if I'm doing something, I spend a lot more time on making sure that there is some value to it. And this is how this platform got evolved. As you can see, like we have done touched 130 plus customers. And the funny part is like this is a tool that Microsoft and internal Accenture built it together. Um, but we didn't have Microsoft leadership support or Accenture leadership support. And this stat that you are seeing is purely based on being forward thinking and being first, and also being like very open, and we were changing as things needs to be changed, and organically we grew this. That's the biggest part. In before, there's a group called AMBG inside Accenture who does the Microsoft projects and all for Microsoft and Microsoft customers. When we had other projects that where we were going after AWS and Google, and we were able to reduce like 50% in the build time. Then we went into these Microsoft projects and we were able to reduce that as well. These 130 customers, we didn't do single one POCs. We were doing like on an average 7 or 8 POCs. But right now, 30 plus are really in production. This is not including the work inside Accenture that we did. Inside Accenture also, we have like 3 projects that have been running in this platform for more than like 2.5 years now. It's such an stable. It can run without like support. We don't have any people supporting except for that small team of like 10 people who are doing the build out also. And then we have done more than 250 different type of use cases. One of the challenge being in this professional services industry is like this industry covers all the other industries. So we have to cater to this industry, plus we have to cater to every other industry like finance or manufacturing or retail, insurance, or I mean, a good thing is like I haven't touched government, but yes, we did government projects like Caltran and all. Caltran projects and all, like it went into governance award, and they actually said like one of the top 5 Gen AI projects for California, right? So they did massive projects like that. And we also have done other projects like for small customers, banking customers, insurance customers, you name it, like construction. There is a bunch of industries, and that's what we did. And we also battle tested this platform within Accenture to do like, 300K, 1,000 plus users using this platform. Um, Now, when you talk about FDE, we also have to talk about like, okay, what is the savings that you're getting in every step of a way. So this is where we have this built-in. If you look at it, like the delivery phase, we had like 40% improvement that came like averaged out with. There was increase in developer productivity with 30% in the phase one, and design and discovery, there were 25% productivity improvement. And then number three for the use case, 30 to 40%. The reason why I know this is like FDE is a concept new to us. I mean, maybe it's new to some of us now, but we have been using this FDE concept for the past 3 years. So we know, because all our projects are very short limited, quick, and with a very small amount of team, right? So use case acceleration is 30-40%, and operationalization stage there are about like 40% improvement. And this, I took a slide, and courtesy of what GPT-2 can do, made this image for me such a fantastic thing. Now let's talk about why today's session is like, now we are adding this. So you heard about the platform, what we are using. But we want to get into what I'm currently working on, helping them to move towards this. Like we're trying to infuse this Microsoft IQ into the FDE platform also, so we can actually start covering these type of use cases. So I wanted to start with like a video. I want
Your
to get.
workday flowing with
Can you
genius.
hear this?
Your factory humming with intelligence. Your data lighting up like magic. That's Microsoft IQ, turning ordinary into extraordinary. Ready to shine?
Were you able to hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was my AI trick. Just kidding. As working in AI, I have to bring in something that is super AI interesting. So I just created generated the image with GPT-2 and then gave it to Sora 2 to make some video out of it. And I used uh, don't uh, don't take it in a bad way. I used Grok to create the storyline. So that's how different models came together for that. And here is the concept that we are going to add to what we are doing, that we call it Prometheus Core in Accenture, but for the FDE platform. So this is my vision of like, okay, how do we take the Microsoft IQs, the Foundry IQ, the Fabric IQ, and the Work IQ, and integrated with the orchestration layer as a agent, Microsoft Agent Framework, and then build into their platform. And you can see like, and then get expose the platform into A365, so we can consume it in Copilots, Teams, and other avenues, right? So that puts us in an entire end-to-end circle. So let me go to this demo. So I did record the demo. If you guys can hear
Hello
it, let me
everyone.
know.
Today we are going to I'm going to show you an example of how to build Microsoft IQ, which involves Work IQ, Fabric IQ, and Foundry IQ, and build an agent in Foundry. So, for example, the Work IQ has all your emails, Teams interaction, mail, and calendar and stuff like that. Copilot has your chat interactions. So we wanted to bring that into into building applications, and then we have Fabric Data Agent, which I have a small sample order data like retail sales data in it, and I've created an ontology on top of it and exposed it as a data agent.
So you may I will
Hey,
give you the
Then I have
I'll give you the link, but before that, I'm gonna go. Can you all
hey,
see the
Bala,
screen? Yeah.
quick question. Yeah, I was
Yes.
thinking if you can maximize. Yeah. Yeah, this is good.
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, I'll give you the link. Take a look at the video later. But my idea was, how much time we have? We have another, what, 20, 19, 18 minutes. Okay. So what I did is like, I had to use the external tenant because Fabric IQ didn't play very well with me. So I built my own knowledge base. This knowledge base is built with Foundry IQ. I have my own construction RFP data sets, which is an open source data set that I use so that I can test it and validate it, and I can even run evaluations and all. That has been already set in place. So I was able to add the knowledge base as Foundry IQ in here. And then I have a Fabric data set. This is basically created on top of an ontology, a sample. Our Contoso sample is what I have done. I'm also testing the latest Databricks mirroring as well. But as you can see, like this has a ontology built on a lakehouse. I didn't create a semantic model. Rather, I went directly ontology model to the lakehouse, um, just to avoid semantic model, just to see how it works. And then on top of it, I've created the data agent, and that is what is getting exposed, and that's what I've connected over here. So you can see that Fabric agent is connected, and I have asked all the work IQ. One of the thing, the work IQ is like, I won't be able to show you the work IQ working in this tenant, but I'll show it to you in my our Microsoft tenant. But you can see the concept coming together. So I can, when I go and ask for like, show me what products are sold, as you can see, it picks up the right agent for Fabric agent. I spend quite a bit of time doing this um, prompt. I had I had some gist of it, and then I started using the AI tools to ChatGPT to frame me the prompt in a right way for this for especially for the GPT models. And you can see it went and it picked up the right right data set. So if you go back here, you will see the same exact 93, 47, 18. One of the things that I was testing is like whether I'm getting the right accuracy or not. And it also tells me which one it takes, and as we know, it does the quality metrics and all those things, and you guys know how to see the tracing and all. That's okay. Now at the same thing, I can actually also ask, show me the scope of my transportation RFP, and this one does an amazing job. It goes back to a different data set that I have, which is my Foundry IQ, and it'll go pull it up. And you can see it gives me the citations, and these citations are not working yet, but you can see my citations are all doc_1, doc_2. I just had it set up in a different way for me to test it out. So this is also very much able to do. I can ask other questions. I have a bunch of questions, and I've been trying it with it, and it picks up the right knowledge trial every time. The one thing I'll show you how it is picking up, but it won't work, is this one, which is like, if I say like, okay, go show me my today's email, even though I've connected it, because I don't have the Copilot license in here, um, it actually asks, and the first time, as you know, it'll ask for the MCP approval. I give the approval, and then it actually comes and tells me like, this used to error out before, but now I really like it because it actually comes and tells me that I don't have the licensing. And this is true. I don't have the Copilot license. That is the only one which is pending. I have the graph access, but Copilot licensing is pending in this case. Now, I'll just show you real quick what I if you're connected to Work IQ. The reason why I know that part works is like, we took that concept, and with Accenture, we went and did it to a customer, and we were able to do all the three, because the customer side, they had access to it. Microsoft has restriction, but we were able to do that in the customer side. Here, as you can see, like here also I have all the Work IQs in here. I'm able to go ask a question, and it actually, I said like, I'm lazy today, so I wanted to summarize what follow-ups I need to do. It went and did that for me. The funny part I was testing is like, I took that and I said, okay, now summarize it and email me, and it did, and it also it did a good job. So this is the real demo part of it. Now I mean, this is, I mean, Lalit was very interested to say like, hey, is it really a customer impact? Yes, this is actually, and we actually showcased this platform in our build, last year build also, but this year build, we might showcase this as an FDE platform. The previous one we showcased this for, they're the first one for the product team for responsible AI and red teaming sample. And I added this deck. This was featured in the JPERX keynote. If you're interested, let me know, and the link is also there. Now all is well.
So, Bala,
Yeah.
Najib has a question.
Yeah, go for
His
it.
hands up.
Hey, so Bala, I'm trying to wrap my head around the platform that we're talking about here, right? So the demo that you gave, right? Unless I'm missing something, I mean, you given a demo of how, I think it's Foundry, and it's what you showed there is just a Foundry agent connected to a bunch of, knowledge bases, as well as Foundry IQ and all of that. Not Foundry IQ, but Fabric data agent. Is that, I mean, to me, that's baseline, when it comes to what we have in Foundry. But am I missing something when it comes to the framework that you're talking about, or the platform you're talking about?
Fantastic question. Here you go. You ready? Hi everyone. Today we are going to see a demo of the tool called Promethea Core. This tool is built to amplify development for forward deployed engineers. Can you
The
hear
idea
it?
here is like they can use this tool
Yes, we can.
And
We,
build
we can.
any
Is it possible to
production-ready
maximize it?
business use cases and process, and deploy it Can I?
in Azure. So it's
Wait.
based on all Azure PaaS services. So the scale is not. I should be able to. Hi everyone. Today we are going to
Is this
see a
better?
demo of
No, before,
a tool
hold on,
called is not a part,
pause it.
but then
So in your slide deck, you make it the presentation mode,
Yeah.
then you run it. And yeah, there you go.
hi everyone. Today we are going to see a demo of you need to know all the service. Instead, here we are providing an easy interface. This is designed for a non-technical user as well. So you can see like there is some orchestrations in here. You can drag and drop like this. And then there are some utility tools to do data processing and extract information, convert to PDF or convert to JSON to HTML and stuff like that. And then we have this utility agents. These are specific agents. Some of them are generic, like the RAG and LLM call are generic, but like data collection is like how do you chunk it and how do you put it in a AI index, and data management or data integration connecting to SQL and other type of data sets. We have user story creation like that, document management, Jira connector, AI for BI. So there are a bunch of kind of pre-planned agents that are built, like radiology is an agent, testing is an agent, video processing is an agent. Video processing uses the video indexer to do the work behind it, and content understanding. So all these are agents. So they have behind the scenes, they have multiple things that it does, like the tools and things like that that can be configured. Like this root cause agent, you can see the a description of what it can do, what are all the things its capabilities are. Each one, if you click, you will see like what each one can do. That's the idea here. And these are all like drag and drop, and you can actually build it. And you see the video, it's content creation, marketing material, internal communication. It uses the Sora, also Sora model number one, then creates avatar, workflow, services. So you can see all the past services behind the scene work together and put this thing together, right? Like this is now the idea of building. Now let's see a sample of like how to build one. This is a sample workflow that I have. You can actually upload the workflow from an JSON file, or you can export it as well. So I have an orchestration agent, and I have a code generator and a data collection agent. So data collection agent goes to the web and gets information. So I can actually test this by going in here to execute, and I just asked the question to do a SWOT analysis. It went to the web instead of doing the code generation, and it brings up the information. You can see like the lineage of like, how did it go through. What if you have multiple agents connected, it will show you which agent went through, and within that agent itself, what are the decision it took. Different, you can see like the wiki was one, open web search is another one, and then the web image search tool. So the tools that it actually picked up, they're all documented, and you can see like which are the tools that it got picked up as well. The same thing, now I wanted to test, so you can see it also shows up the image. If you want to generate a web page, you can click this and it'll generate a web page. Now we can also ask for like writing code. This is the other agent that I have. It went and created a machine learning code, how to use XGBoost, and then it also tells you like, what are the intermediary tools that it was using in between to generate it. So this is a simple very workflow, but you can actually do complicated workflow like this one. This is for a patient care, and you can see it goes through an entire list of like what needs to be done: clean the data, validate it, eligibility verification, diagnosis thing, claim validation, and then submitting the claim, and then processing it. All those things can be done. Now this also has a concept of vibe coding. So I generated this entire workflow based on the prompt that you're seeing in here. And then if you see the vibe code environment went through each and every step, like what it was picking and for what reason for each functionality, and then it is putting together, and then you can say apply workflow, and that pulls up in the UI over here. So you can see the power of the platform. You can sit with somebody and build an entire flow. Now, does it only does that? No, we have like other services. Like if you're on the left hand side, if you see, we have like testing framework. So we can test multiple prompts with multiple models and with ground truth data sets and run and see it over here. You can actually see the observability dashboard, which also has a responsible AI in it. But you can also see all the users who are using, and based on like each agent how it is working. You can see the request by week, by date, by hour. You can see the usage, the token usage pretty much, mainly. You can see token by month, by hour, by application, total tokens. You can also see the execution in here. So you can see like we have observability dashboard baked in it as well. And then you can do model management. This is how we added more utility agents after agent. If we can create your own agent and add it in here as well. We have an integration to A365, so you can see like you can add an agent to A365 from after you're developed over here, or you can even you can see the Foundry agents that are showing up. You can even do that as well. um, and we also have like an if you look at there is also we have the help system in here. If you click here, you will see all the helps that we have, and you can like click on like each one of them, and it'll show you a sample of how to use it in an agent, right? So this is the power of this tool. As you can see, you can build it, and you can actually um, take from a full end-to-end development from zero to so that's just a short version of the platform. You can do a lot more. I didn't have to I didn't have the I mean, I wanted to make it very short for this thing, for this session today. So far, make sense?
No worries. A quick question. So,
Yeah.
Najib, does that answer your question?
Sorry, I tried to come off of mute. Yes, I mean, it seems like I just jumped the gun because that's exactly what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah. So to just to sum it up, and Bala, this we have 4 minutes for any additional question, but it seems like this platform has vibe coding capability. You give a prompt or spec, and it generates all kinds of artifacts, including the workflow, like using the predefined agents.
Right.
You can do a lot of things like generate code or generate an app which uses those agents, or even test those apps with those agents and observability and things like that. Okay.
Yep.
So is this open source? Like what? So how do we get our hands on this? This is pretty cool, actually.
That's the $1 million question. So I wanted this to be open source, but Accenture doesn't want it to be. It's their IP. So this is their secret sauce. The only way we can get this is like if we enable, if you guys bring in Accenture as your customer and ask for this tool, right?
So you get us excited, and then now you're telling us, okay, that's interesting. I thought it was a partnership with Accenture, and that means, we should be able to have that code to run it. That's interesting. Okay. But it's really, really interesting. So let me ask you this, like when you have that workflow that you just showed us, I'm assuming that in the back end, like once you execute it, right, it's going to deploy all the right components, right, in Azure, right, to bring to life whatever that workflow you put in place, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
It'll
Okay.
it'll go put it in functions, and it'll invoke the Cosmos DB. Everything will
Yeah.
be automatically deployed and ready for it, and it'll go create the workflow, save it, and everything will be managed in the platform. You don't have to do anything other than this just
Yeah.
single tool.
Yeah. So you mentioned this is Accenture. Like I think you mentioned that this is it was a partnership with them. Like, is there room for us to get our hands on that tool at all?
Not the code.
Yeah.
Not
So
the
what can we
code.
get? So what can we get our hands on then if it's not the code?
It's basically the partnership is Accenture is a company who will always do anything they do it for all the three clouds. So
Okay,
they
so we
have
need
to
to bring
build it
them in. We need to bring them in. That's what you're saying. There is nothing
pretty
around
much,
that.
yes. The short answer is yes.
Okay. Got it.
And the partnership, we force them to use our PaaS products because we wanted to make money, not just in AKS with other services, right? And that's where our partnership was.
How long did it take to build this?
The actual platform build, it took about like 4 months in
Okay.
the beginning, and then we have been evolving this platform for like 3 years now.
Yes, very interesting. So, well, if there are any follow-up questions, you can put in the chat or follow up with Bala. But thank you so much. It was a great presentation.
Thank you,
And
Lalit. Thank you for having me. Thank you,
yeah,
team.
Can you
and
share that slide deck, please?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Thank you. At least we can get our hands on that, so that's good.
Yes, that is I control it, so I can definitely
Yeah, no, it's a
move
great
on.
framework. I mean, at least we can take away the framework. Definitely, that's something that can be reused. But that tooling, I was super excited. Like, hey, this is a game changer. Like, I would want to put my hands on it. But yeah, I mean, it makes
yeah,
sense if Accenture it, then yeah.
That's the
Okay.
reason why they don't want to open source it, because they are struggling to figure out what is their uniqueness. And I mean, if they wanted to do it in Copilot Studio and all, but then, Copilot Studio is not very unique. Copilot Studio is Microsoft centric, right? This is very much their secret sauce. They're still holding it to their chest. God only knows what will happen, but we'll see.
So Zach is here. Let's vibe code this thing, Zach. Okay.
Mhm.
all right. Thanks, everyone. Happy
Thank
Friday,
you,
and
team.
see you
Happy
next time.
Friday. Happy
All right,
Friday.
team. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you
guys.
all. Bye.